Okay, so if you're watching this, that means that you've already planned out most of the body of your essay. You've completed your before and after graphic organizers to discuss the change that Squeaky undergoes through the story. So now we're ready to kind of start planning our intro. Now, what we need to understand is that the choices the author makes, all of those, really, the purpose of them, it's really to get to a theme. And so what you're proving in this essay is that Toni Cade Bambara's use of a dynamic character in Squeaky is really to communicate her message. She undergoes this change from a selfish, disrespectful person to an unselfish or selfless, respectful person as a means of communicating the theme that Toni Cade Bambara wants us to learn from the text. And that's what you're going to really prove in your essay. So to start your intro, you're going to start with your heading. You want to double space it. So before you start typing, go up here and go to double. If you already started typing, you do have to highlight what you've typed already and then double space. But you see it's just the name, the period, the name of the work that you're completing, and the date written in MLA format. Make sure you capitalize yours the same way I've capitalized mine. You're simply copying. So any errors, it's just a matter of not paying attention to detail. So you know from our lesson that an introduction has to have a hook, a bridge that connects the hook to the thesis, and then a thesis, a statement of what it is that you're proving through the body of your essay. So you can see here I started with a hook. I did pick a quote to use, but only because I felt like the quote really captured the theme. So I'm going to read that part to you. George Bernard Shaw, the famous playwright and journalist, once said that those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. And you're going to notice I said who said it, but then I explained here who he is. And you would want to do the same thing if you happen to use a quote as your hook device. Okay, so right now I'm talking about some random playwright and something he said. And so the reader would probably be asking, okay, so what's this essay about? What does that have to do with The Grinch? And I am using The Grinch for my example. Here's where we create the bridge. So I somehow need to connect that hook to the content of the rest of the paper. So watch how I do this. In The Grinch by Dr. Seuss, the Grinch not only changes his mind, but he also has a change of heart. So you can see I connected the idea in my hook to an idea in The Grinch. Also notice that I included the name of the work and the author. Because it's a book, it's italicized. For you, you're doing Raymond's Run, which is a short story, so it'll be in quotation marks instead. But one of the requirements of the intro is that you have the name of the author and the work. So in my bridge, I also give some background information, some summary information, because remember, you're writing this as if the reader of your paper does not know the story. So I know in your body, you filled in some summary information around each quote, but up here, we need to give them just an overall quick view of the text. Early on in the Grinch's life, he was alienated by a few Whos in Whoville, so he moved to a mountain to escape the torment. His loneliness caused him to embrace a hateful attitude for all of the Whos down in Whoville. The Grinch needed to learn that the past is the past, and that he must move on to see that there is goodness in the world. However, it wasn't until the Grinch carried out his plan to steal all of the Christmas decorations and presents from the people of Whoville that he realized that life wasn't about material things. He discovered that the majority of Whos have genuine kindness in their hearts, and they have embraced him as one of their own. So notice I kind of start with the conflict, and I go very quickly into the bare minimum of the rising action that I needed. I got to the climax and what he discovered in the climax. So maybe a hint as to the resolution. So you notice it's only a few sentences, and in the requirements for your intro, your bridge, I think the requirement is somewhere around 4 sentences. So you can see I'm close here. You went just a bit over. Okay, now the thesis. The thesis is very important. To write your thesis, you need to think about, okay, what theme do I want to posit that Toni Cade Bambara is developing in her work? And then I need to bring in the fact that she uses a dynamic character to do so. So I'm really proving that Squeaky is dynamic, and then I'm extending that to the purpose of the dynamic character is to develop a specific theme. So you can see here in The Grinch, one of the themes really is just simple transformation, that people are able to transform themselves and become better people. So I thought a nice little transition in my thesis would be good. A thesis statement's only one sentence, so you'll see I had to make this sentence complex. So as a result, and I'm meaning as a result of this last sentence, excuse my dog barking, he discovered that the majority of Whos have genuine kindness in their hearts, and they embraced him as one of their own. So here I'm saying, as a result, the author develops the theme of transformation through the development of the Grinch as a dynamic character, because he undergoes a transformation from mean and cold-hearted to caring. So I want you to look at the different pieces I have. I mentioned the theme specifically. I made sure that I said that the character was dynamic, and then I went over the two characters that I'm going to cover in each of the body paragraphs. A thesis gives us a preview of each of the body paragraphs. So this is the claim I'm making, and this is a preview of each body paragraph. That's what you need to do. I can say one change I'm going to make. I will change develops to a different verb since I use development here. I don't want to be repetitive. But I hope this helps to give you an idea of what your intro should look like. It should be somewhat similar in length. Your summary might be a bit shorter than what I have here, but if you model your intro after mine, then you're on the right track. And do note, I used just one of the many hook techniques. I think there's a number of techniques that you could use that would be very effective.